Most men think attraction is created by words, money, or looks. But the truth is quieter than that. Real feelings are awakened through moments that feel safe, intentional, and emotionally charged. And nothing carries emotion faster than touch when it's done right. Not rushed, not demanding, and never careless. Touch is not about taking, it's about communicating something words can't. When a woman feels understood through touch, her guard lowers, her emotions open, and connection deepens naturally. But when touch is clumsy or selfish, it does the opposite, shuts everything down. Here's what most people get wrong. They touch with expectation instead of awareness. They touch to impress instead of to connect. They touch without reading the moment. Real attraction begins long before intimacy. It begins when a woman feels emotionally seen. Touch is simply the amplifier. Picture this: a room filled with people. Noise everywhere. Conversations overlapping. In that chaos, someone lightly places a calm, confident hand on her upper back, not to pull, not to push, but to guide. In that brief second, her nervous system relaxes. She feels grounded. She feels considered. That moment lingers. Why? Because the body remembers how it felt to be safe. In this video, you're not learning tricks, you're learning signals. Each touch you'll hear about is subtle, respectful, and deeply psychological. These are touches that awaken emotion, not resistance; curiosity, not pressure; trust, not tension. And the first principle you must understand is this: touch only works when intention is clean. A woman can feel the difference instantly. The body doesn't lie. If your touch carries impatience, insecurity, or neediness, she senses it before her mind can explain it. But when your touch communicates calm confidence and emotional presence, it creates something rare: comfort mixed with intrigue. That combination is powerful. Before any technique, you must master restraint. The ability to pause, to read her breathing, her posture, her energy. Touch should feel like a natural extension of the moment, not a move you planned in advance. Because when touch feels earned, it awakens something deeper than attraction. It awakens feeling. And that's where everything truly begins. The first way to touch that awakens real feelings is through the protective touch. This is not a romantic touch. It's not sexual. And that's exactly why it works. A protective touch communicates one powerful message to her nervous system. You are safe here. Imagine you're walking together through a crowded space. Instead of grabbing her hand or pulling her close, you gently place your hand on the middle of her back. Your palm is relaxed. Your movement is slow. You not steering her like an object to, simply creating a boundary between her and the world. Her body responds before her mind does. Her shoulders soften. Her breathing slows. Her awareness shifts toward you. Why? Because protection is one of the deepest emotional triggers. When a woman feels protected without being controlled, her trust grows naturally. And trust is the foundation of emotional attraction. This touch works because it's grounded. It carries no urgency, no hidden agenda. It says, I'm present, I'm aware, I've got you. The key is duration and pressure. Too quick, and it feels accidental. Too firm, and it feels possessive. Too long, and it feels forced. The perfect protective touch lasts just long enough for her to register it emotionally. Then it's gone. That restraint creates curiosity. She feels something but doesn't fully understand why. And that's important. Real feelings aren't triggered by obvious actions. They're awakened by subtle emotional shifts that linger after the moment passes. One mistake many men make is escalating too fast. They move from zero to intimacy without building emotional safety. But safety is what allows desire to grow without resistance. 2. When a woman feels protected, she allows herself to relax. When she relaxes, she becomes open. And openness is where emotional connection begins. This kind of touch doesn't say, "I want something from you." It says, "You're okay with me." And that message is far more powerful than attraction alone. The second way to touch that awakens real feelings is the intentional pause touch. This touch happens in moments of stillness, not movement. And that's why it's so powerful. Most people rush through interactions. They fill silence with words. They move too fast to notice what's happening underneath. But emotional connection lives in pauses. Picture this. You're talking. She's explaining something personal. Her voice slows slightly. There's a moment where she finishes her sentence and looks at you, waiting not for words, but for understanding. Instead of responding immediately, you pause. You hold eye contact. And then, calmly, you place your hand over hers for just a second longer than expected. Nothing dramatic, nothing intense, just present. That pause does something profound. It tells her you're not rushing her. It tells her you're emotionally available. It tells her she has your full attention. The hand is one of the most emotionally sensitive areas of the body. It's where trust is felt instantly. A rushed hand touch feels empty, but a paused hand touch feels intentional. The psychology behind this is simple. Spared. When touch is paired with silence, the brain fills in meaning, and meaning creates emotional depth. She starts associating you with calm, grounding presence, with feeling seen, with feeling valued. These associations don't fade quickly, they embed. Bird. This only works if your energy is steady. If your touch is shaky, uncertain, or impatient, she feels it. But if your touch is calm and grounded, it communicates confidence without words. Another key element is release. You don't hold on. You don't squeeze. You let go naturally, as if the moment completed itself. That release is crucial. It leaves emotional space behind. And emotional space is where curiosity grows. She notices the absence of your touch after it's gone. And that's when feelings begin to stir up because of what you did, but because of how it made her feel afterward. This touch doesn't demand closeness, it invites it. And invitations are far more powerful than pressure. The third way to touch that awakens real feelings is the affirming shoulder touch. This touch works because it validates her emotionally, not physically. When a woman opens up, shares a fear, a dream, or a moment of vulnerability, she's not looking for solutions. She's looking for reassurance that what she feels makes sense. In that moment, words are secondary. Imagine, she tells you something personal. Maybe it's about pressure she feels, or a doubt she carries quietly. You listen fully. You don't interrupt. You don't try to fix it. Then, as she finishes, you gently place your hand on her shoulder. Not heavy, not dramatic, just steady. That touch sends a clear message. I hear you. I respect this moment. Dud. The shoulder is powerful because it's connected to emotional strength and burden. When touched calmly, it feels like support. Like someone standing beside her, not above her or ahead of her. Psychologically, this touch reduces emotional isolation. Many women carry their emotions alone. When someone acknowledges them without judgment or pressure, it creates deep emotional bonding. Bet. Timing is everything. If you touch too early, it feels intrusive. If you touch without listening, it feels empty. If you touch with pity, it feels weak. The affirming shoulder touch must come after presence. After listening, after understanding, after silence, and then release. You don't linger. You don't slide your hand elsewhere. You let the touch complete the emotional exchange. That's what makes it powerful. Because she doesn't feel handled, she feels supported. And support builds trust faster than attraction ever could. When a woman associates you with emotional safety during vulnerable moments, her feelings deepen naturally. Not because you tried to impress her, but because you made space for her to be real. This is how emotional intimacy forms quietly, not through intensity, but through consistency. The fourth way to touch that awakens real feelings is the mirrored touch. This touch works because it creates emotional alignment. People feel closest to those who feel similar to them. When a woman senses that you're emotionally in sync, her guard lowers without effort. Mirrored touch quietly signals, we're on the same wavelength. Here's how it happens. She laughs and lightly touches your arm while telling a story. Many men either ignore it completely or overreact by escalating. Both break the emotional rhythm. Instead, after a moment passes, you mirror her energy. Not immediately, not exaggerated. You lightly touch her arm in the same area, with the same level of pressure, and for roughly the same duration. That delay matters. It tells her you noticed. It tells her you're socially aware. It tells her you respect the pace she set. The brain interprets this as emotional attunement. Mirroring is one of the strongest subconscious bonding mechanisms humans have. We trust people who reflect us not perfectly, but naturally. This touch doesn't feel planned. It feels organic, like the interaction is flowing on its own. But here's the critical rule. You only mirror comfort, never hesitation. If her touch is brief or uncertain, you keep yours lighter. If her touch is confident and relaxed, you match that calm confidence. You're not copying her, you're responding to her emotional signal. 2. When done correctly, this touch creates a subtle sense of partnership. She feels met, not pursued. And that changes everything. Because pursuit creates pressure. Alignment creates attraction. After mirrored touch, something shifts internally for her. She starts feeling with you instead of evaluating you. And that emotional shift is what allows real feelings to grow. This is how connection deepens without force, quietly, naturally, almost without either of you noticing the moment it happens. That's the power of touch when it's guided by awareness, not impulse. The fifth and final way to touch that awakens real feelings is the absence of to touch. This is the most overlooked and the most powerful. It's not about the touch itself. It's about what happens after. Modes. Men believe attraction grows by doing more. More contact, more closeness, more presence. But emotionally, feelings deepen in space, not saturation. Here's what this looks like. You share a meaningful moment. Maybe a laugh, a quiet conversation, or a brief but emotionally charged touch on the hand, the shoulder, the back, it feels right, it feels connected. And then you don't chase it. You don't immediately repeat the touch. You don't try to escalate. You don't seek reassurance. You allow a pause. That pause gives her mind room to process the emotion. And when the mind revisits a feeling on its own, attachment forms. Psychologically, this works because the brain assigns value to experiences it has to reflect on. When touch is followed by calm confidence and emotional independence, she begins to associate you with depth rather than need. She replays the moment. Not because you demanded attention, but because you didn't. This creates emotional gravity. She starts wondering what that touch meant, why it felt different, why it stayed with her longer than expected. That curiosity is where real feelings are born. The mistake many men make is overstaying the moment. They keep touching, talking, filling space until the emotion fades. But when you leave space intentionally, the feeling grows in her absence. This final touch teaches one essential truth. Emotional connection is not built by taking more. It's built by knowing when to stop. When your presence feels calm, your touch feels intentional. And your absence feels intriguing. A woman doesn't just feel attraction, she feels something real. Something that lingers. Something she wants to understand.